I am so proud of Cassie. She went through so much just listening to her filings. That woman is so strong to be standing here today and pursuing this lawsuit before the world, especially considering who she is and what she had desired for herself. It is hard for people who are not even famous to go outside without fear of somebody judging them for the shoes they got on or anything else. Imagine famous people dealing and putting up with so many things because they don't want to have to deal with it before the world. This is why she is so brave right now. Even though, it's clear that she's seeking justice for all that she has been through, I can't help but to think that she was watching him dating Miami and some of the other girls that you see him running around with, and probably just grieved in her spirit for them and wondering if they were suffering the way in which she was. Now, projection is a real thing. We can assume somebody will respond to things the way that we will and will have the same type of experiences that we have. But as we see with young Miami, that isn't always the case.
It say take a shower if you like golden showers. I do.
Golden showers, meaning when the guy pees on you, pee on you everywhere. You like it?
I just like it.
You do?
I was too through. Trina had to look at them like, what the hell? This girl, Lord.
Freak of the week, huh? So you say take a shot. You say take a shot. Oh, we need
Yeah,
a shot.
I take a shot.
You like golden showers?
I do.
But like peeing on you.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just do something.
I'm gonna be honest. Hold on, one more thing. I need something a little less. Right? So I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never had a golden shower.
I did.
Did you?
When I heard this laughter, I felt a couple of ways. I was like, this could be a nervous laugh. It could be a laugh where she's uncomfortable with the fact of realizing that she's exposed herself, that Trina is not necessarily, on the same wavelength with her, trying to ease some of the awkwardness. Or, the fact that maybe someone has made her comfortable with something that she wasn't comfortable with. And Miami is young. And so you come into these spaces, coming from nothing, and you come into these spaces with these people who got all this money, and things you thought was crazy now becomes cool. And maybe she's convinced herself that it was cool, which is what I'm leaning more towards, because once she got the backlash, she didn't feel so good about it anymore.
I've never had a golden shower. Like, I've given one. Oh, is that the same thing as squirting? Or
Yeah, they say that. I don't know, but I don't had to go.
Notice here her body tenses up and she takes a shot.
The shower, and I like.
I give them. Golden shower. But I've never experienced that. I'm all about trying new things, though.
Now, this is Trina trying to be sweet. Just a few seconds ago, the last time Miami said I like it, she said it really low, like she was insecure about it, right? So now here's Trina trying to make her feel not so bad about the fact that she like, well, I'm open to trying new things. All of a sudden, soon as Trina says she's open to trying new things, now Miami's empowered again. Oh, yeah, I like it.
Golden shower.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like, when you drunk and you just
And they just peeing all over your body.
you just like pee in your butt, pee in your pussy. I don't.
Notice here Trina's smile slightly disappears and she exhales like she's uncomfortable for this young girl. She's older than her. She has better understanding. And Miami seems like she doesn't even understand that she's describing what some women would see as a form of abuse.
I don't know.
And then y'all still have sex after?
Here's where my heart begins to bleed for Miami. Because even at her age, she doesn't understand what she has allowed to happen to herself. By her doing this in this moment, she has essentially become complicit in the abuse that she's had. Because I want to believe that she wasn't okay with that she had to be convinced to be okay with that. And because she's not solid in herself as a woman, it wasn't that difficult for someone to convince her of that. Not saying that anyone couldn't enjoy that, but what I'm saying is, if that's what you enjoy, stand 10 toes on and be confident. If you are not certain of it, that means that you had to be convinced of it, is what I'm saying.
It depends. Like, you can pee on me in
Freaky.
the shower. You can pee on me like once you come in. Like, it just depends.
See?
It just depends on how the night flows.
I never heard of Cassie claiming to enjoy degrading behavior from Diddy in the way in which Miami has. And Miami, it appears that she has a little more liberty than what I noticed with Cassie. For instance, Miami is not always with Diddy. Cassie was always up under his thumb, and I see Miami out and about a little bit more, but I still think he controls her because you have not seen Miami with another guy and nothing. Diddy can mess around with all the women he wants, but Miami better not step out. Having grown up watching her, I'm only a year older than Cassie. And so I was cognizant and mindful and aware of their relationship. And, I was uncomfortable for her, having the typical experience of many young women in America having dealt with sexual assault. And so when you have dealt with sexual assault, and I know a lot of women can attest to this, slimy, sleazy energy from that type of man when you see it in other men, especially if you've been abused for a significant amount of time. And so I was uncomfortable for Cassie the entire time of their relationship. However, you can't be uncomfortable for somebody if they look like they're smiling and they're happy. That could have been me projecting my experiences onto her. But back to projection, I can imagine her looking at some of these young women like, he's continuing to get away with this. And he has to be stopped. And I'm sure, even though her lawsuit is about her experiences, I'm sure she's witnessed him abuse other people. I know the car situation about Kid Cudi, that is bad enough. But I'm sure over the almost decade that they were together, that she's seen him do some foul to people. I'm sure she has. And in this lawsuit, I'm sure she's left things out because you have to have proof of everything you're saying. You have to have records. So I'm sure there's many things that she have not been able to actually disclose in the public record because of lack of proof. But I'm sure this woman have seen him do some horrendous things to even other people. And the things that he has done to her were so deplorable. So deplorable. I can understand the difficulty that she is having to this day, mentally and emotionally, and being able to look herself in the mirror and value herself. 10 years is a long time to have that self-depreciating, and because you begin to beat yourself up while you're going through what you're going through. You're not only being abused by someone else, you begin to abuse yourself while you're in that situation as well. So that is her norm self-talk, so she has to fight the negative thoughts she has about her life and her existence and her lost dreams and goals and where she saw herself, and just having to look out into the world and hear his music everywhere and see his influence everywhere. It's no getting away from this situation. But I just want to say that I am so proud of her, because it doesn't matter how much money or how beautiful you are. No one really knows how hard it is or what it takes for someone to get up out the bed, to get themselves together, to be amongst the land of the living mentally, because you can die and still be breathing. You understand? So I'm just proud that she's doing everything that she's doing, because it's not just for her, it's for so many people. And I want to speak to the idea of love covering a multitude of sins. Now, I've been seeing this in different situations with celebrities who cover up certain proclivities that people may have. And they have their different reasons for why they're protecting the individuals that they're protecting. But in Cassie's case, I don't want to say that it is love covering his sins. I want to say that it was power, it was fear, it was influence There are a lot of young women who are seeking to get into Hollywood, who are seeking fame, who are seeking some kind of recognition. And these days, these people not even seeking to get money. They just want the notoriety. They want the social media attention. Like, that is currency, and that's enough for some people. And that is so dangerous because that's the type of thing that'll get a person caught up. Now, I'm not saying Cassie was searching. She was just, she was a dreamer like many of us who want to have success in the areas in which we enjoy. And hers just happened to be musical art, and that's what she was working towards. And so he used her desire and her passion to trap her in his spider web. The thing is, once you get into certain webs, some of them webs are a little bit more powerful than others. And so the typical everyday woman, it's not easy for the typical. You see the increase of domestic violence deaths. I follow a couple of pages here on YouTube, and my heart breaks all the time because these are all beautiful women who I empathize with, because it is so easy to victim blame and say, why she did this and why did she do that? And it's not always black and white like that. There are myriad of reasons why people are able to be entrapped. And so she was just in a situation where there was no protection for her. There was no getting out of it when you consider there's so many people who are around him and who were participating in his imprisonment of her, essentially. And so I'm looking at all of these people, and it's not just about what Cassie wanted for her career. I'm thinking about what these other people wanted from him and what they were getting out of the deal. And what was their income? What was the incentive? Like, what were people seeking to have, for their silence? I have had a very short, brief, small stint in entertainment, and I saw that it wasn't for me because I have a very small capacity for anything that makes me feel some kind of way about being violated or uncomfortable, because I am, that I come from that kind of environment, from a lot of abuse. And so I'm triggered and traumatized in a lot of situations that even remotely remind me of that. So when I got into different spaces, I would be uncomfortable, and I'd be like, when I was younger, I didn't have a choice of the spaces that I was being placed in or being sent to as a child. But as an adult, I can make a decision to protect myself. Maybe I didn't have a father. Maybe my mother didn't, whatever, make the best decisions. However, as an adult, I can choose to protect myself and not put myself in those situations. But to be clear, my alarms blare loudly in my spirit like that because of my experiences. Now, everyone's experiences don't do the same thing to them. Some people embrace those things as if it's supposed to be the norm, so they just go with the flow because they've just gotten accustomed to the trauma. However, for myself, I didn't want to experience those types of things anymore. So for someone who might not have that type of reference when they're coming into these things as an adult or a little bit older, they don't have those same red flags and alarms blaring when they are getting into these questionable situations. It's very difficult to do that when it's easy to rationalize and say, well, this is just a crazy world. It wasn't that bad, and I could deal with that. Like I wasn't this. It wasn't that. It wasn't grape or like that. Maybe he just came on just a little bit disrespectful, but I could deal with it because I'm trying to get somewhere. I want to go far, and if I could just deal with him, then I can get past him to get to there or wherever else I'm trying to go in the industry. And so I had someone actually ask me in the forum. She was just like, how do you deal with someone trying to offer you this for that? And I say, that's something you would have to ask yourself. What are you willing to do? What makes you uncomfortable? How is that going to make you feel? And is it going to be worth it for you? Young Miami doing whatever she's doing to get her show or whatever kind of notoriety she feels like she has on the name of him and his legacy, it is not her own. She's not sustained in her own self. And I would like to know, like, after the relationship is over and when all of this falls, will it have even been worth it for her? Because she likes to speak as if, the situation is comfortable for her. And I was uncomfortable for her. But once again, you cannot be more concerned or more uncomfortable for someone than they are for themselves. Just as someone who's older than her have, gone through and come out of some things, I have hindsight. She does not. In youth, that's the beauty of ignorance that she has. And I don't even judge her because I feel like hard head make for a soft ass. Maybe she'll get a book deal out of it in the future because I was young and dumb, story of many of our lives. But Cassie, I want to believe that she's looking at the young Miamis and those other young women and saying, something has to be done. And, just him continuing on gaslighting her. He thanked her in an award show and just this whole love thing. And it's just, I could imagine her being sick to her stomach just watching him not only gaslight her, but all the other people in his life that he's messed over professionally and personally. I can imagine all these artists looking at him moving about the way he does and just shaking their head, you know? So I don't want to be talking forever, so I'm going to just drop this right here. But said all that to say, I am very, very proud of Cassie. And I commend her, and I just pray her strength. I pray her peace. I pray her healing. And I just want to send her strength and encouragement to go through this. And I'm very happy about the outpouring of support that she is getting right now. And shout out to the culture right now for the people who spoke up. I know many artists. Well, I'm not gonna say many. I'm gonna say a few artists who are associated with Diddy have actually spoken up in support of Cassie. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. But I hope that the everyday woman seeing this feels empowered to speak up. I hope that people who are watching their loved ones go through these types of things begin to speak up. I love the energy of speak up. Speak up. Don't be silent. Don't be complicit, because people are suffering and people will continue to suffer as long as we stay silent. So I'm gonna leave it there. You beautiful people have a wonderful day, and yeah, stay beautiful.